Unit 5, Taxonomy, the Changing Earth, Evolution. Objectives. What are the categories of classification? How has the Earth changed over time? What are the theories and agents of evolution? Taxonomy is the classification and identification of living things. One of the first scientists to create a system for classifying organisms was that amazing Greek fellow, Aristotle. He looked around and decided that the best way to classify living things was to put them into very broad categories. He had plants and animals. Plants he would further classify based on herbs if they were soft stems, shrubs, several woody stems, or trees, a single woody stem. With animals, he further classified them based on where they lived, whether they were water dwellers, land dwellers, or air dwellers. So we can see how this is a useful system to start with, but you can probably think of things, particularly like in animals, that are both water and land dwellers, like amphibians, right? And how we might run into some other complications with this system. Other systems arose after that were based on habitats, shapes, sizes, colors, the number of feet on the ground, wings, fins, tails, etc. Then, along in the 18th century, a Swedish biologist named Carolus Linnaeus devised a classification system that we still use today. He believed the primary function of science was to find order in nature. He thought that species were the basic natural grouping and that species never change. He categorized plants and animals according to structural similarities. In Linnaeus's classification system, he didn't use common names to identify organisms. He believed it wasn't precise enough. For example, the same organism might go by different common names depending on different locations and cultures. For example, silverfish, water dog, nightcrawler, or beargrass might mean one thing in one place and something different in another. For example, if we look at silverfish, we could be talking about the arthropod or the fish itself. So instead, Linnaeus used Latin to name organisms. This was because it was a dead language, that meaning it wasn't being used in everyday conversation, and therefore it wasn't undergoing a lot of changes. You may notice that languages change from generation to generation, so there wasn't Latin slang being developed. And many modern languages have Latin roots, so it wouldn't be completely out of left field. And this is a very descriptive language. So if we're looking at silverfish, at the Antarctic silverfish, which is the fish itself, if we have Plurigramma antarcticum, that is very different from Lepisma saccharina, which is silverfish, the arthropod. Today, organisms are classified into taxons, or different levels. If we look at the most specific and work our way up, we start here at the bottom of this triangle with species. This is going to be the most specific grouping and the least inclusive. Genus, we have related species. Working our way up to the family, we have related genera, which is the plural of genus. Order, we have related families. Class, related orders. Phylum, related classes. Kingdom, related phyla. And domain, the most general grouping of related kingdoms. And we may recall from earlier, we have 3 major domains in biology. If we take a look at table 1.1, this is the classification of humans. So if we're looking, we have the domain eukarya. So with other eukaryotes, we have cells with nuclei. We're in the kingdom Animalia. All other organisms that belong in this kingdom are multicellular, they're motile, and they ingest food. We are in the phylum Chordata, meaning that we have a dorsal supporting rod and nerve cord. The class Mammalia, having hair and mammary glands. So see how we're getting more and more specific as we work our way down. We're in the order primates, being adapted to climb trees, the family Hominidae, adapted to walk erect, the genus Homo, large brain and tool use, and getting to the most specific category, Homo sapiens. So you may notice there with Homo sapiens and this Linnaean system of taxonomy, each species is given a two-word name. This is binomial nomenclature. This is the genus name followed by the species name. The first word, being the genus, is usually a noun. The second word is the species name, usually an adjective. This is similar to Spanish, where we have the noun first and the adjective second, like Casablanca, Chile Verde, etc. There is a specific way to write the scientific name of an organism. The first word always begins with a capital letter. The other letters are lowercase. The second word is always written with all lowercase letters. So the genus is capitalized or may be abbreviated. And both words are either italicized or underlined. So for example, with Homo sapiens, you could also abbreviate the genus to H. sapiens. Pisum sativum, the garden pea, P. sativum, Felis domesticus, bet you can guess what that is, right? So common house cat, you could have as F. domesticus.